Hello students, welcome to science class. So today we are going to discuss a chemistry topic. As we are discussing the development of atomic theory, we have finished 2 sessions regarding this topic. Before entering into today's session, let's have a review what we have discussed in the previous session. Do you remember? So firstly, we have discussed about the discovery of electron. It was done by J.J. Thomson by using the experiment discharge tube experiment. I already told you that with the help of cathode rays, he has given some properties of the light rays, and from that he came to know that light rays consist of some negative charge particles, and there they are called as electrons. Later we have discussed about proton. It was discovered by Goldstein through an experiment anode rays. With the help of anode rays, he discovered these protons. So these two things we have discussed in the last 2 sessions. Today we are going to discuss atomic models. After the discovery of electrons by J.J. Thomson and proton by Goldstein, Thomson has given the first atomic model. It was not accepted today because in this session we are going to learn what Thomson has given us, that is atomic model, and what are the drawbacks of this atomic model. Before entering into today's session, I will let you know what is meant by atomic model. So the word atomic model, simply to say that model of an atom. What is meant by model of an atom? How atom is there. So in 18th century, John Dalton has proposed that atom is the smallest indivisible particle. But later, after the experiments of J.J. Thomson, I already told you that indivisible word has changed to invisible because J.J. Thomson has done some experiment and he showed that atom is not the ultimate particle. It consists of some other particles present inside that, and among them J.J. Thomson showed the presence of electron inside the atom. So it was changed. Now after this discovery of electrons and protons, Thomson gave the atomic model. What is meant by atomic model means where electrons and protons are present, or simply to say that what is inside the atom, how they are present, and in which places they are located. So that model is called as the atomic model. Simply to say that model of an atom is called as the atomic model. Okay, so today we are going to see what is the Thomson's atomic model. Look at the video. Look at the video which is showing you the first atomic model, that is the Thomson's atomic model. So are the charged particles arranged in any particular manner? This is the doubt got in J.J. Thomson's mind. He was thinking that whether the charged particles, so what are the charged particles? 2 charged particles are present, 2 different types of charged particles are present inside the atom. That is after the discovery of J.J. Thomson and Goldstein. Those are electrons and protons. So are these charged particles, are they present separately inside the atom, or are they present concentrating all the charged particles one side, that is all positives one side, all negatives one side? This was the doubt the scientists were thinking. So before J.J. Thomson, Dalton said that atom cannot be divided. As I told you that now it can be divided because of the presence of electrons, protons and neutrons. So we already discussed that Goldstein has discovered proton through the same experiment, that is a discharge tube experiment. He found canal rays, and in these canal rays he found positive charged particles, and these positive charged particles are called as protons, and its mass is nearly 2000 times than the electron. And J.J. Thomson has discovered electron cathode ray discharge tube experiment. So that is a negative charge particles, and they are named as electrons, and its mass is a negligible mass. So through the experiment which you can see on the screen, these two things we have discussed before. So depending upon these two discoveries, J.J. Thomson is in a confusion that whether the arrangement of a positive charge particles and negative charge particles, how they are arranged. So you can see on the screen three different models, whether they are arranged in the first case or second case or the third case. This was the question. So they tried to understand regarding the arrangement of electrons and protons inside the atom. The first model of an atom was given by J.J. Thomson, even though it was not accepted, but he gave the first model of an atom. His model is called as a plum pudding model or apple pie model. So you can see on the screen Christmas pudding. So the same arrangement of electrons is like you can see strawberries and all present on the cake, and whatever the brown color portion, that is called as the positive charge, and whatever the dry fruits present on this brown color, that is called as the negative charge particles, those are called as electrons. He gave this model. This can be explained through watermelon. So whatever the reddish portion present inside the watermelon is called as the positive charge, and whatever the black color seeds present in the red color portion are called as the negative charge particles, those are electrons and protons. So this was the first model given by J.J. Thomson. Watermelon model, plum pudding model. He said that positives and negatives are arranged combinedly. An atom is a positively charged sphere. Electrons are set within the sphere. This was the model given by J.J. Thomson. As we know that an atom is electrically neutral. So what does this word means, electrically neutral? There is no other misbehavior is going to take place inside the atom. We have the positive charge particles and negative charge particles sufficiently, which is going to balance the atom. If they are placed one over the other, the different charge particles are going to attract with each other. We know that like poles repel. Here we have unlike poles, that is unlike charge particles. They are getting attracted. Due to this, positives and negative charges present close to each other is making the atom not a neutral. This was the incorrect in J.J. Thomson's atomic model. So that's why we are not using J.J. Thomson's atomic model. This is the only drawback with J.J. Thomson's atomic model. So from this video we have learned that atoms are made up of charged particles. What are those charged particles? Electrons and protons. So according to Thomson's atomic model, an atom is a positively charged sphere with electrons set within it. So this was the wrong statement given by J.J. Thomson. And we already know that an atom is electrically neutral. Electrically neutral. In the same way, so in the plum pudding model given by J.J. Thomson, electrons are embedded in positively charged sphere. Watermelon model, whatever the reddish portion, that is a positive charge, whatever the black color seeds, those are called as a negative charges, that is electrons. So this was the arrangement given by J.J. Thomson. And he also said that positive charge in an atom holds the negative charged electrons. So this was given by J.J. Thomson in his atomic model. So as we are not following this model due to the only statement, that is an atom is electrically neutral. It is not neutral if the arrangement is like this inside the atom. So after J.J. Thomson, we have the other scientist who gave the next atomic model after doing some experiment. So what is that experiment? I will let you know in this session. After J.J. Thomson's atomic model, we have Rutherford atomic model. So Rutherford, Ernest Rutherford was famous scientist who also has done some experiment in giving this atomic model. His famous experiment is the gold foil experiment. So let us see how he has given the atomic model and what is the experiment and what is the procedure of this experiment we will see in this video. After the proposal given by J.J. Thomson, that is a plum pudding model, which was not accepted by many scientists. So contradiction to J.J. Thomson's atomic model, many scientists started experimenting in giving a proper atomic model. So whatever the statement given by J.J. Thomson, that is a negative charge particles are present inside the positive charge particles. Depending upon this statement, Ernest Rutherford in the year 1911 has done gold foil experiment. So now I am going to say you what is a gold foil experiment. And so this is the setup. Ernest Rutherford along with Hans Geiger and Ernest Marsden, two of the scientists, done this experiment. Let us see the setup, how the gold foil experiment is going to be. So this is the setup. He has taken alpha particle inside a container. Source of the light is from alpha particle inside the lead container. So what is the why he took alpha particle? So alpha particle has high energy and it is heavier. So what is the necessity of higher energy and heavier? As J.J. Thomson told that negative charge particles are present inside the positive. So alpha particles has higher energy, so it can dominate these electrons and it can move straightly. So this was the concept inside Ernest Rutherford. So depending upon these two things, that is higher energy level and heavier, he arranged alpha particle inside a lead container. He also took a gold foil. So why he took a gold foil? Because gold foil consists of nearly 1000 atoms, which is a lesser number of atoms present inside that gold foil. If lesser number of atoms are present, then the passage of light can be easily done. And next he has taken a ring-like structure. So this ring-like structure consists of some opening at one point. What is the necessity of that opening? When the light rays is passed through this opening, so it is going to fall on the gold foil. After passing through this gold foil, light rays will be passing backwards after the gold foil, and you can see the light in glowing nature on the fluorescent screen. So this is his concept in his mind, and these are the things he has taken in his arrangement. Okay, so see, after arranging the setup like this, what should happen? So as J.J. Thomson told that electrons are embedded inside the positive charges. Okay, so what is going to happen? See, all these gold foil atoms, so when the light rays are passed from the alpha particle, it has to move straight passing through the atoms and should strike the detector, showing the glowing nature. Okay, so why it is going to happen? Because atoms consist of electrons, so which are very less, having less energy, and whatever the alpha rays they are going to send is having higher energy, so definitely it has to move straight without any deflection. It will go and hit the detector, so that they are able to observe that electrons are embedded inside the positive charge. So after starting this experiment, what has happened? Rutherford observed three different types of cases. That is, he observed when light rays are passed from the alpha particle. You can see here, light rays are passed from the alpha particle. It is passing through a white hole inside that lead container. So one straight line of alpha particle has passed onto the gold foil. What has happened? Three different cases has arisen. So you can see non-deflected particles. Non-deflected particles means whatever the rays which are not getting deflected. So this was he expecting. Okay, so this has happened. What has happened? So whatever the light rays from the alpha particles has passed through the gold foil without any deflection. So you can see non-deflected particles. Along with this non-deflected particles, he also observed some deflected particles and rebounded particles. Some deflected particles and rebounded particles. You are able to see on the screen 3 different headings there. So he was expecting non-deflected particles as per the statement given by J.J. Thomson. That has happened, but whatever he has not expected, that is the deflected particles and the rebounded particles, also has taken place. So this was the thought or concept which was given an idea for Rutherford to give this atomic model. So that is a deflected particles are not moving straight, they have got deflected, and rebounded particles, they not only got deflected, they came back. So these two cases he observed. So depending upon these 3 cases, Ernest Rutherford said that the plum pudding model given by J.J. Thomson was completely incorrect, and he started to give a clear atomic model depending upon these 3 observations. So let's see what are his conclusions and what model he has given in the next video. Let's see how Rutherford has concluded and given us the model. So after doing this experiment, that is a gold foil experiment, he observed different characteristics, different light rays which is passing through the gold foil. So as we discussed that 3 different light rays came into existence. He observed 3 different rays. One rays are unbounded rays, the other one is bounded rays, that is they came back, and the third one is they have got deflected. So first one is most alpha particles not deflected, that is unbounded rays. Some alpha particles got deflected and some came back again, so without passing through the gold foil. Okay, so these 3 different types of rays, depending upon these 3 different types of rays, Rutherford came to the conclusion, as I told you, that J.J. Thomson model was wrong. Why he said that J.J. Thomson model was wrong? Because he has taken the example of a cotton ball. So whatever the cotton we are going to use in your daily life, so you know that from the plant, when it is coming out in the form of a cotton, it can have a seed at the center, so which is very hard and denser. Is it or not? So taking this example, Rutherford explained, suppose taking a cotton ball, if you are going to pass heavy intensities of light rays, so instead of light rays he is taking a bullet. So what has happened, if a bullet is passed to strike the seed inside the cotton ball, it is very harder, the bullet will fall down. Is it or not? That much harder it is going to have. If you are going to pass innumerable number of bullets through it, what is going to happen? So whatever the bullets which is not striking that ball will pass straightly, so undeflected rays. If suppose if they are going to hit at the seed, circumference of the seed, not at the center, circumference of the seed, what is going to happen? They are getting deflected at certain angles. Is it or not? If suppose if they are going to, if a bullet is going to hit right at the center of that seed, what is going to happen? Definitely it will return back. You can see on the screen, it will return back, or it is getting rebounded. So depending upon this concept, Rutherford assumed that with all these observations, Ernest Rutherford finally decided that most of the space inside an atom is empty. How he is saying empty? When the alpha rays are passed through that atom, all the rays are getting deflected, all the rays are touching the detector. Is it or not? So that is the first statement. And secondly, positive charge occupies a small space inside the atom. How was he saying this one? Because only some portions of the rays are getting deflected. Look at the example again, cotton ball example. So when you are going to pass the rays, only some rays are getting deflected, blue color lines, and some rays are getting rebounded back. So wherever the light rays which are passing on the white color, so they are touching the detector. Only few rays are getting deflected and few rays are rebounding back. So this was the second statement given by Ernest Rutherford. And he also said that that portion, positive charge portion which is present at the center is smaller. And he also supported his statement, that is at the center we have positive charges. He supported the statement by saying that whatever the alpha particles he is going to pass is of positive charge. These positive charge particles are getting repelled by the positive charge particles present at the center of the atom. That is, as I told you, that they are rebounding back at the center. Depending upon this, he said that all the positive charge particles are present at the center and not in the other part of the atom. In the same way, he said that the size of the positive charge particles is also less. That means they are present at a smaller area. He supported this statement by saying that if the area is bigger, then more number of light rays will be getting deflected. But he observed that only few rays are getting deflected, so the size is smaller. Look at the screen. Once again I am showing you so how the rays are passing. Almost all the rays touch the detector, only few rays get deflected and few rays got rebounded. So these three different types of rays gave him the idea of a new atomic model. So what he finally proposed is, there is a positively charged center in an atom which is called as nucleus. Nearly all the mass of the atom resides in the nucleus. He also said that the electrons revolve around the nucleus in a circular path. In the same way, the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the atom. How he is going to say these things means, he observed three different types of rays. The first one point is hypothesis of Rutherford is, there is a positively charged center in an atom. It's called as nucleus. As he observed that the light rays which are passing at the center are getting deflected or rebounding back. So alpha rays are positive charged particles. So at the center, whatever the rays which are passing at the center are getting rebounded or deflected. This gave him the idea that positively charged particles are present at the center. In the same way, the electrons revolve around the nucleus in a circular path. Okay, so as positive charged particles are present at the center, electrons can't be at the center because remaining space can't be empty. So remaining space is completely occupied by electrons. And how these electrons are present? They are revolving in a circular path. And the third point is, the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the atom. As I already told you that few rays which are passing at the center of the atom are getting deflected and rebounded back. Depending upon that, he assumed the size of a nucleus to be very small when compared with the size of an atom. So this was the hypothesis and the experimentations done by Rutherford. So in this session we have seen two different topics. Let us revise what we have discussed. We have discussed Thomson's atomic model, which was also called as plum pudding model, apple pie model, or a Christmas pudding model. It was gone wrong by the statement of J.J. Thomson saying that electrons are embedded inside the positive charge. As we know that atom is electrically neutral, positives and negatives can't stay near each other. So the drawbacks of plum pudding models are, Thomson's attribute that the mass of an atom due to electrons and protons are evenly spread throughout the atom. As I told you that positive charge and negative charges are spread completely over the complete area of the atom. This is not in agreement with the observations of Rutherford, who concluded the mass is concentrated in a very small space in the center of the atom, later called as nucleus. As we have seen Rutherford model, so Rutherford said that mass is concentrated at the center, but J.J. Thomson said that positives and negatives are completely filling the atom. So in this way, J.J. Thomson's model has gone wrong due to these drawbacks. We also have seen Rutherford's atomic model through gold foil experiment, and he said that positive charged particles are present at the center and all the mass is concentrated at the center, while the negative charged particles are revolving around the positive charge, and free spaces are present around the inside the atom, while electrons are revolving, positive charged particles are at the center. So this was the proposals given by J.J. Thomson and Rutherford, and there was a defect in Rutherford's atomic model. So look at that. Any particle in a circular orbit undergoes acceleration, and during acceleration the charged particle would radiate energy. So the revolving electrons would lose energy and fall into the nucleus, and the atom would be unstable. We know that the atoms are stable. See, look at the picture. So this was the model, final model given by Rutherford. Look at the first arrow mark. Where is the first arrow mark? It was starting here. It was starting here. So observe the spiral where that the circular path is going to lead. So when it is going to start at that dot, it is going to lead towards the plus sign. Is it or not? So whatever the Rutherford assumptions are right, no doubt in that positive charges are present at the center, electrons are revolving, both statements are right, and free spaces are present inside the atom, that's also right, but the model is wrong. So why the model is wrong? So this is the defect. What is the defect? So you can observe the arrow mark, first arrow mark, which is starting from the dot. So observe that where is the spiral is going to lead it. It is leading towards the plus sign. So what does this means? That we know that Rutherford said that the electrons are revolving around the positive charges. If the electrons start revolving in this path, they will be continuously revolving. Electrons will be continuously revolving. If they start continuously revolving on one particular day, one particular point of time, they may lose the energy. If they lose the energy, they fall in the positive charged particles. So after losing this energy, what are those particles called as? So this was the defect. Any particle in a circular orbit would undergo acceleration, and during acceleration the charged particles would radiate energy, means they liberate energy. That means electrons are going to lose their energy. So the revolving electrons would lose energy and fall into the nucleus, and the atom would be unstable. So why unstable? Because if all the electrons loses their energy and fall into the nucleus, where is the electrons? So it should be stable, means positive charges and negative charges should be equal with the equal energies. Is it or not? But if the electrons are losing their energies, they are unstable. So this was the only defect of Rutherford's atomic model. But Rutherford has given whatever the proposals given by Rutherford, observations given by Rutherford, that is electrons are revolving, positives are at the center, they are occupying a smaller area when compared with the size of the atom, more free spaces are present in between the electrons or inside the atom. These things, three things are correct in Rutherford's atomic model. Hope you have understood today's sessions. See you in the next class.